So you get home from teaching all day and you pull into the driveway with your own children. You get their backpacks out of the car. You get inside, you get ready for a snack. And all of a sudden you realize that they've got their hands up in the air, waiting for you to recognize them. You call on them and they're like, Mom, can I please get some juice? They get done with their snack and they head out to go play. And you look outside and they've got all of their stuffed animals in a row. And you realize that they're all on a different behavior plan. And that's when you realize that they're picking up on all the teacher things that are happening in school. And you've got yourself a teacher kid on your hand. So being a teacher's kid or a TK is a specific brand of childhood. It means being the first one at school and the very last one to leave. It means knowing exactly where to find the good snacks in the faculty lounge and thinking that every adult is naturally just called Mr. or Mrs. Today we're peeling back the curtain on the chaotic, heartwarming, and often hilarious life of the children who grow up behind the scenes in the classroom.
This is Teachers on the Loose.
Hi everyone, welcome to Teachers on the Loose, the podcast where we turn teacher tales into belly laughs and life lessons. I'm Allison.
I'm Celeste.
I'm Kristen.
And I'm Kelsey.
Today we're diving into the reality of raising teacher kids, the pros, the cons, and the accidental classroom management that we use on our own families.
But before we dive into today's episode, let's do a quick check-in. If your child had to give you a grade for parenting this week, what would it be?
I'm a 10 with Carter right now because he asked me to help him write his first resume today.
Aww.
And we were working together on what's funny, how being a teacher's kid and helping out in my classroom is actually giving him some skills that he can put on his resume to hopefully land his first job.
Aww.
He wants to be one of the tennis coaches at the rec center this
that's
summer.
awesome.
That's fun.
So yeah.
I love that. I'm going to go with a 9 for Addie. And it's pretty high because, she's a teenage girl. So you just never know with her what you're going to get when she wakes up. Plus, she does a lot of morning shifts at her work. So 4:00 a.m., she wakes up. It leaves the house by 4:18 a.m. Works pretty hard and long morning of being on her feet. She's a barista making drinks. And so by the time she gets home, she's a little grouchy. Well, today we went shopping together. It was just really fun spending time with her. And we were looking for those dumplings. Have you guys seen those?
Squishies?
Yes.
Yeah, where are they?
Well, my brother was in town and we went to dinner on Thursday and he had gone to Five Below and he got one for her. She was so excited because she had just put one on her Amazon list and they're hard to come by. And so she was able to open it. It wasn't one of the glitter ones. I think it was purple. But we went to Five Below today and they didn't have any. And we bought some other stuff and she drove home. And it was just really fun having a conversation with her because, she was stuck in the car with me, so she couldn't go anywhere. So she had to talk to me. So it was just really, really nice and really fun. So 9.
I would say I'm probably at a 90% as well, maybe even 100%. I don't know. Wow. It's pretty easy to get good grades from your children when they're 22 and 19. One's out of the house and one is pretty independent. I would say I probably lost a point in having food stocked in the fridge and in the pantry this week. It was a busy week. But I redeemed some extra credit points because I would just give the debit card to her and say, go out to lunch or get burritos from Cafe Mex or something, you know what I mean? So I think I'm doing pretty good. My youngest, who's away at college, called me one night. She wanted to go for a walk and it was dark out and I said, okay, we'll talk the whole time. So she put me on FaceTime and we went for like a walk together. So
Cute.
That was super fun.
Cute.
I would hope they'd give me maybe a 9 or 10. I think, when your kids are little and you're in the trenches of like different behaviors and mood swings and all the things and they're tired or this or that, but it just gets to be hard sometimes. But my kids are happy. They're healthy now. We're over the sickness and they're doing good. They're doing things they enjoy and they're having fun. So I think that's the most important thing.
Awesome. So we thought it would be a fun episode to talk about all the funny stories and just things that happen to our own children because they grew up in the classroom, in the school, essentially. Like, there's just certain things that they do that you're like, oh, you're such a teacher's kid for that. So let's dive in.
They should have their own podcast. Like they should.
I'm
We
a
probably
little
should have.
nervous.
We should have invited them. You know what we should do? Okay, text or call your kid and ask them what's your favorite thing about having a teacher mom or growing up being in the classroom all the time.
Yeah. I can tell you my son's least favorite.
What is it?
He constantly asks me why he can't take a bus to school.
All right, so I called my daughter who is away at college. I've got her on speakerphone here. Hi, Delaney.
Hi, Delaney. Welcome to Teachers on the Loose.
So we're doing a podcast about teacher kids, and you fall in that category. And so we were just wondering if you could tell us what is your favorite thing about being a teacher's kid?
My favorite thing is in the springtime when you guys do the baby chicks and being able to come into the classroom and pet the chicks whenever.
My favorite part too.
Yeah. And so, yeah, teacher kids do get that experience. They get to come in and see the chicks after school hours or before school hours. And even when they're in 3rd or 4th grade, or even when they're in college and they come home and visit and there's chicks hatching. Yeah, you get to be a part of all those experiences. So that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that
Great
with us.
answer, Delaney.
I love it.
Alrighty, go rest. Get ready for the next week of college. We'll talk to you later.
Bye bye.
Love you. Bye.
Aw.
I think for me, my kids, they love when they say, hey, can you bring home some markers? Can you bring home some pencils?
You're stealing
my hair.
school supplies.
How much money did I spend on my classroom? My son was like, I need cardstock. I'm like, I got cardstock. And then he's like, I need some lamination sheets. I'm like, I have that. What are you making? And he is really into cards, and the cards are different characters, kind of like Pokemon cards. But then he also, this is the funny part, he's like, can you, by the way, also bring home the paper cutter? I'm like, oh my gosh, you are making money now. You can buy your own paper cutter. So I brought it home. Yeah, I did. But you know, note cards, dry erase markers, dry erase board, all those things. I brought those home for my kids.
Teacher supplies.
Yes, all the teacher supplies. How about you, Celeste?
You guys wait until you hear what Carter said.
Oh,
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I am in my room.
Okay. Hey, what is your favorite part about being a teacher kid?
Probably like after school, I just being able to walk straight to your classroom.
Oh, that's so sweet. You liked being close to your mom.
Yeah.
Nothing about the snacks in the teacher lounge.
You never gave me any.
we tried, Carter. We tried. Donuts.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
My son would definitely say the snacks in the lounge or the snacks in the like secret closet. He hangs out in my office after school, and sometimes I have to go to a meeting, so he does a good job of just like hanging out in there and doing stuff on his Chromebook or playing with Legos and stuff. But our secretaries are amazing, and they always come in and check on him. They're like, you want a snack? And he's like, yes. So now he calls it the backpack closet.
Oh,
He's like, can I have a snack? I'm like, no, we have our own snack drawer.
That's funny.
They're not the teacher snacks.
It's not the good special stuff.
Yeah. Or he'll go down the hall and find the other teacher kids to hang out with, and that's cute.
That's sweet.
All right, so we've got a special guest here. We have an actual TK, teacher kid, here
In the room.
In the room with us. Hey, Kenna.
Hi.
Welcome to the podcast, Kenna.
We just have one question for you, and that is, what was your favorite thing being a teacher's kid?
I'd have to say for right now, I'm now going to school to be a teacher. And so growing up in a school, I get to experience what it was like to be in that role. Like grow up in the school and see the behind the scenes.
Gotcha.
And you have like the best example to learn from in the
I
whole
wouldn't say
wide
that,
world.
but whatever. No.
I do.
so you have years of observation experience.
Correct. Yes. Yes.
And the cool thing is that you did come and volunteer in my classroom for a couple months this year, and then now you're like subbing in the district, and so it's kind of come full circle for going from being a teacher kid to being a teacher. You're on your way.
Yeah.
So, since we've got you, Kenna, you want to share what your least favorite thing is about being a teacher kid?
Don't be scared or shy. Just tell us.
Tell us like it is. Be real.
My least favorite thing about being a teacher kid would be growing up, having a teacher in the district. You cannot get away with anything.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. We would hear about it before you even got home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys as kids ever say anything like that?
Yeah, I've had conversations with my son before, and he's been like, "What? How do you know that?" I'm like, "Mom knows all."
So Carter said that one of the things he did not like about being a teacher's kid was that I knew everything before he even had a chance to tell me, and that happened in first grade. Do you guys remember?
No, tell us more.
He made a choice at school that maybe wasn't the best choice, and before he even got back to my room at the end of the day, his teacher was in my room telling me about it. And so yeah, he did not appreciate that I knew all of his business all of the time.
I think I remember that happening.
Uh-huh.
Did it have to do with his Chromebook?
Sure did.
Okay,
Oh, now I remember.
Yep, sure did. So he did not like that I knew all of his business all of the time. Or that like I knew teachers across the field at the other school, and they would email me before he even got back to my classroom, and I'd just be like, "So tell me about art today." And he'd be like, "How do you know what happened in art?"
Yeah, exactly. We do know all. We hear about it before anybody else.
But he used the words being snitched on by other teachers. That was his least favorite part.
Yeah, actually, my kids would probably say that, plus how much time we spend at school. I remember when I got my first kindergarten classroom, I had to go and get it all organized and decorated, and I brought my two youngest with me, and I think Cole was in 4th grade and Addie was in kindergarten, or going to be, and they were playing with the pattern blocks, and they were like, "Let's do a contest and see who can make the nicest, coolest picture, Mom. And then can you judge it?" And I'm like, okay. So that gave me a good 10 minutes of organizing, doing stuff. And then it was time to judge it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to judge it because you guys will get mad. They're like, "We promise we won't get mad." So then I did. And I said which one was my favorite. And oh my gosh, that was big mistake. So they did have to spend a lot of summers when they were little at school and after school staying later, you know.
So many hours spent at the school. And I think when they were little, they liked it and they thought it was fun. Ooh, we get to go to Mom's classroom.
Yeah.
Ooh, I get to watch a movie on the big screen.
Yeah. And then I think the older they got, the less they liked it.
I would agree.
I'll say summers. I like summers. After
Okay.
school, get home.
Yeah.
But I like summers at the school.
So if Delaney were here, or if I were to call her back, which I'm not going to because it sounded like she was taking a nap earlier, and I don't want to disturb
needs her
sleep.
rest.
She needs her rest. She's
Yeah.
a college kid. She needs to study hard this week. But if she were here, I know what she would say. She would say that having a teacher for a mom, she could never have incorrect grammar without it becoming a whole lesson, and me saying, "Oh, honey, no, that's not the way that we say that. This is the way that we say that because," and then I would go into a whole lesson. Or if she spelt something wrong, there, or there, I would say stop and be like, "Oh, stop for a second. I know that we're in church and you're doing pastor notes right now or sermon notes right now for your confirmation class, but you actually spelt that incorrectly. Let's go back and look at how we can spell that." And I would turn it into a phonics lesson, and they would get so mad at me. They're like, "I'm not your student." And I'm like, "I know, but I just want you to be the best you that you can be." Would you agree, Kenna?
Yes. Also, when we would have talks, you would say friends and call us your friends.
That was earlier in my career when I was teaching kindergartners, and I'd be like, "All right, boys and girls," and I don't have boys. I just have 2 daughters. So I'd be like, "All right, girls." And then I'd be like, "That doesn't sound right." So I'd be like, "Okay, friends, come on." And I would misstep. I wouldn't necessarily call you friends. I would in the heat of the moment say friends, just like my students call me mom sometimes and they don't mean to.
Yeah.
But yeah. Or when I use restorative practices on you.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I know, right? So
Did you guys
Anyways.
ever have star charts for your children?
I did. But that was
Like a
before I
behavior
was a
chart?
teacher. No, not after. Because I was too tired. You have energy, Kelsey, to do all the things.
Well, it kind of helps me with different things at the house. I'm like, "Oh, great job getting all ready for the day. I'm going to add a little star to your chart because it keeps them motivated. And it's like one less thing that I have to like
Fight over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had chore charts where they would get a little star for doing a chore. And do you remember what the chore was? The very last one? No. Give your mom a hug. Or
That's a chore.
like I would be like, give somebody a compliment, or tell your sister she's cute, or
Aw.
I would always add like a fun
Yeah.
like affirmational one
Nice.
because I'm a dork like that.
I
but
don't
that's
remember
okay.
doing star charts. I'm sure we did something, but I can't remember.
Thanks so much, Kenna, for coming and joining us on Teachers on the Loose. It was
Yay,
good.
Kenna.
Yeah, it's good to have a kid's perspective, even though you're an adult now, but you grew up in that environment. And so we appreciate you telling us the good and the bad of being a teacher kid. So,
And you turned out okay, right?
yes.
She turned out great, and now she wants to be a teacher
Yeah.
herself. I'm
So-
so
Thanks for having
excited.
me.
All right. Bye, Kenna.
Bye.
Okay, good talk.
Okay, I have a question about your own child's behavior and that when they're like little toddlers and stuff. Just because I'm going through all those things with our little ones. And my husband and I, like, you know, tag team figuring out what to do, how to navigate the meltdown or whatever it is. But sometimes he'll be like, well, you're the teacher. What is the teacher thing? Like, how do you, you know, and then I'm like teaching him the teacher way of dealing with the behavior or whatever, which is fine. And we figure out like a thing that works for our kids. But what did that look like for you guys when you had your younger kids and navigating teacher at school, teacher at home, like all the behavior things with your kids?
My children were angels. I never had to discipline them.
There were times I can remember with the kids where Joe and I would see differently, and I would kind of bite my tongue in front of the kids, and then away from the kids, I'd be like, I respect that that's the way that you were going, but just so you know, developmentally, this is where they're
So
at.
Joe
and
got
we
a
have to-
lecture.
and then I know, poor Joe. And then him and I would have a conversation around that. But yeah, there were definite times where like I felt like I had a different skill set or a different perspective because of the education that I had around that, you know, about child development
Yeah.
or how to handle situations and how to motivate children or how not to rage bait them or whatever it is that
Yeah.
you're trying to
Yeah.
accomplish at the time.
I don't know. I feel like by the end of the day or on the weekends, I kind of lost all my patience and all that other stuff. During the school day, you're like, okay, friends, nope, let's choose a better behavior, make smart choices. But when I get home, I'd be like, what is wrong with you? No, I'm just joking. By the time I get home, I'm really not.
I'm actually really glad you said that.
Yeah.
Because there's times that I have such a bad guilt trip on myself because I'm like, as a teacher or in a school, when you're like, I feel like sometimes I come home and I'm so overstimulated already
Yes.
as it is. And then when you have little ones, you're like, okay, they talk a lot, which is absolutely amazing, right? And I love hearing their stories. But there's times you're like, oh my gosh, if I hear one more word today, I'm going to like,
Yeah.
you know, you need to go sit in a quiet room by
Right?
yourself for 5 minutes, right?
I think that's what I
Yeah.
would do when I would get home, Kelsey. We all have a break because our kids are all older, but I would say, don't talk to me for 5 minutes. Nobody say my name. And it was so nice. It would be helpful. Did it always work where I was in the best mood afterwards? No.
Yeah.
No. It's hard.
No, and that's unfortunate for those teacher kids because I'm sure it happened in my house as well. Like you're just tapped out for the day, and then you have to go home and deal with your own
Getting
children
ready for soccer
and
practice while they're saying that they don't want to wear the cleats or
yeah,
Make dinner.
Yeah.
Yep.
yep. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
It is.
All right, I got a question. Okay, so we talked about how our kids are at the school a lot. And so I know that when my kids would come to school before and after school, there was like certain things that they loved to do to pass the time. What kinds of things did your kids do or do you have available so that they can stay busy while you're trying to get your work done?
That's a great question because I can tell you right now, my daughter loves to make slime, and you have to have glue. And what's the other thing that you need to have?
Activator,
Like contact
what's-
syrup?
shaving cream, contact syrup, solution.
Contact.
Contact solution. Yep.
Anyway, whatever you needed to make slime, I had the things in my closet, and so she would just sit there and make slime after slime after slime. And then she knew where the Ziploc baggies were, so she'd put it in Ziploc baggies. She'd have all these different colors, and she would just make slime. Wow.
I had a rule that my kids had to read first because that was back when they had to get their steps in. So
Yes.
first they would get their steps in, and then they loved the math manipulatives cabinet.
Yes.
And so they would always open that up and play with polydrons and build castles and towers and yeah.
I remember one morning your son Carter had me play a game with him. You had to go to the office to make copies or something, and he just stood at my door, like staring at me. I'm like, "Hey, what's going on?" And he was like, "My sister won't play with me." I'm like, "Oh, I'll play with you." So I played a game, and you came back, and you were so mad. You're like, "You are not supposed to talk to her."
Well, because I think being a teacher's kid, you have access to the whole building.
Yeah.
But you have to teach them the boundary of that they are not here to entertain you. They are not here to talk to you. And you are not supposed to go interrupt them. This is their work time. And so I was very strict with my own two children because I didn't want the teachers to be like, oh, there's Culver's kids again,
Right,
like coming to bug us. And so I was very strict about you stay in the room and you don't go bug other people.
Yeah, I have a whole like tote of toys in my office for him, Legos and coloring books and all sorts of building things. But my favorite thing that he does, because our librarians are amazing, they've taught the students how to get onto the library catalog and look up books. And so he does that now. When he wants to read about something, he'll like sound it out and type in the word, and then he knows how to request a hold.
Way to go! I love that so
As a
much.
kindergartner, that is so cool.
Yeah.
So it's really cute. And then he gets so excited when the next morning the books are sitting there on my desk for him. It's really
So I have a question. Are you excited for when you have both of them, or does it terrify you a little bit that like now you have to entertain two little humans?
Yes, it terrifies me a little bit. That's been a learning curve this past couple years, is just like you're splitting your brain. You're like there in work mode, but you also have to get your kid like set up so they can be focused on something. This is your work time, and I want to show up for my job and do the best I can, but I'm also split with this is my kid and I want to take care of him and make sure they're set. And yeah, it's a little bit of a juggle for sure. And even like with him being there the whole day, I absolutely love it. When I pop around to classrooms, I can pop in and he gets so excited, and it's really cute. And I absolutely love that experience because I have such a different view on his education, and I love that and get to see so many amazing things that he's doing. But it's hard too because it's, I'm also in work mode.
Yeah. And I have been on both sides where my kids were at the school with me and I got to do that. But I also was in a situation where I worked at a different building than where my kids went to school. And that was equally as difficult because I would have to get up extra early, drive all the way into town, drop them off at before school care, drive all the way across town, get to work, and then do the same thing in the afternoon. And if they got sick or hurt themselves at school, it was a challenge because you have to stop and write your sub plans, and then you're like, I can't be there for at least 30 minutes, because I have to do X, Y, and Z. Versus when they're in the building with you, you're right there with them.
Yeah. I was with Addie for 3 years, and then we moved. I stayed at our home school, which is where we all met, and then she went to our neighborhood school just because I think that's important to do. And so, yeah, she got sick one time, and I already knew the nurse and stuff because I used to work there, and I was like, well, I can pick her up now, or can she just make it to the end of the day, which was about 30 minutes. And the nurse was like, she's fine, she can stay. But you feel bad because, that is your child and you want to stop and do whatever and help them. But honestly, Kelsey, I miss it. I know it's hard, but you're going to miss it. So try to enjoy it because it does, like you said, Allison, it goes by so fast.
I know.
You start crying. Oh, no.
I'm not even kidding. It like that has been my saving grace like these last few years. Anytime I am having like a really hard moment, I literally think of that song in my head.
You're gonna miss
this.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, I could do this.
Well, now I'm gonna cry. No,
You don't
I don't
cry.
cry.
Crier.
Oh, my gosh. call my kids and give them a hug when I get home.
I will say there is a transition when your children don't come by the school anymore, because I would have my kids there and I would put up a video on the big screen and they would just curl up with some snacks and watch the video, and I would be getting my grading done or planning or whatever in the back. And then all of a sudden one day you're just there by yourself. And there's there's a loneliness. There's a loneliness. And I think that they kind of like phased themselves out before they moved away. Like in high school, I'd be like, hey, so it's Saturday. Do you have any plans? They're like, no. And I'm like, you want to come up to school and watch a movie while I get something done? And they're like, no.
Same.
And I'm like, what?
It's not fun anymore for them.
So then I had to start saying, okay, so let's treat this like a job. Okay. I will pay you 1 human bean coffee.
Yeah.
Plus, how about I give you like $10 an hour? But
Wow.
you have to cut this out. And so then I started giving them jobs. So then it would cut our time down at the school too. So
Yeah.
that helped out. But I did have to start paying them to help. Yeah.
I
so-
could not get my kids to come. I would even try to bribe them. I mean, pay them with human bean or lunch.
Yeah.
But they're like, it's not worth it.
Right.
Mine would. And you had certain jobs that you knew which one could do. Like
Yeah.
Kaylin loved to cut the laminating out. And so that was always a job I would leave for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one day you just find yourself there all by yourself. And there is like a loneliness thing. So like in a previous episode, we had talked about, would you rather grade at home or grade at the school? And I always wanted to grade at the school because I'd have my kids with me or whatever. And now I just don't grade because... just kidding. Because I don't want to stay there by myself and be lonely, but I also don't want to bring it home. I just want to relax when I get home. So I just don't grade.
I don't like to be
No,
by
I'm
myself.
just kidding. I do grade. Oh,
Scary.
yeah. Anyway, the loneliness is real.
Okay, I have a question. How do you guys feel about, as a teacher, teaching a teacher kid?
That is so hard.
Depends on the parent.
It really does. But here's the thing. If somebody gave me an option like, hey, would you like to have a teacher's kid or not? I would say not every time. And not because of anything other than they see me differently than the average kid.
Yeah.
It would be the same as like, do you want to have this next door neighbor in your classroom? I would say no, because they see me differently or whatever. With that being said, teacher kids have to be in all classrooms. And so I try to embrace it. Right now I have 2 in my classroom. And it's really cool that I get to go and talk to them at the end of the day and say, oh my gosh, your kid was so awesome doing X, Y, and Z today. It's just really good to have those like mini teacher conferences with them and to share how they're doing and critically thinking and how they get excited about certain things. And and you have a different relationship with those parents than you do a typical parent. So it's...
Yeah, it is a lot of fun. But on the flip side, it can be challenging because... It's not if, it's when, right? Like they're kids. They're going to mess up. They're going to make mistakes. And when you have to have those conversations, sometimes it's really difficult to be like, hey, like we just have to have a like a teacher to mom moment, not a teacher to teacher moment right now.
Yeah. I have 2 also, Allison, in my class this year. And I honestly, I love it. And I feel honored. It's usually a blessing. There are moments, like Celeste, you said, that you have to have those awkward conversations and they're never fun. But the little girl that I have in my class, she wants to be a teacher also. So
When she came with her lanyard.
yeah, she was so cute. She dressed nicer than me on Friday because it was, what is your dream? What is your goal in life? And she wants to be a teacher. So she had the teacher dress on. Did she have a cardigan on?
She
Celeste?
had a cardigan. She had on teacher pants. Her hair was done so cute.
Yes.
That's so cute.
So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And there are perks to having teacher kids. Like they get it in a different way than other parents don't. There's perks like a parent teacher conference time. You can be like, hey, you want to just do this real quick before school? Or hey, do you mind if I stop in after my lunch break or whatever?
Yeah.
And you can go through things that, you know, you're not on the same time restraints as the other parents. So there are definitely some teacher perks. And I will say this, holy cow, Christmas time, the teacher kids parents gave such great gifts. I was like, oh my gosh, you guys. I felt like I should give them a gift back. Like, you know what I
Because
mean?
they get it, right?
Yeah, they get it.
They get
They
it.
know how much work you're putting in, and you just feel the appreciation
Yeah.
from them.
Do you know what's the best part of being a teacher and having your kids with you?
What?
Summers, snow days, holidays,
Yes.
all those things.
So
Yeah.
true.
Yes.
You
is
get
so
that time
nice.
off with your kids. You don't have to worry on a snow day.
Absolutely.
Yep. So I love being on the same schedule as them because you
I do
can't
too.
be 100% stay at home mom.
Yeah.
That's what I would love. That's like my dream to just be home with my kids. But this is kind of like the next best thing. So you're still with them. Like
Yeah.
Kelsey, he is with you all day long
Yeah.
still.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Okay, so today we talked about how being the kid of a teacher is all kinds of things. It has its perks and it has its downsides, but ultimately, how blessed that we are in a position where we get to hang out with our kids and have them with us.
Absolutely.
All right, listeners on the loose, this week's challenge is to find one moment to be just mom or just dad. Put the grading away, leave the teacher voice at the door, and do one activity with your kids where school isn't the subject.
So does that mean that you can't correct their grammar
Yeah.
while you're
No mini
No
lessons.
more grammar lessons this week, Allison. It's a challenge.
Okay.
Are you up for it?
I accept that challenge.
Let's
and
go.
if you accept that challenge, we want to hear about it. So tag us on Instagram at Teachers on the Loose or on TikTok at TeachersOTL. We might just share your story.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. And remember, you can be a world-class educator and a present parent at the same time. But it's also okay to let your teacher side take a little break.
So grab your favorite lukewarm coffee and meet us back here next week on Teachers on the Loose.
This is Teachers on the Loose.
Teacher kids or TKs have a whole different experience. They have early mornings. TKs?
Yes,
No?
that's what they're called.
TKs. Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
there's an acronym for that.
PKs and TKs. Pastor kids and teacher kids.
I've never heard that.
I heard it.
Okay.